Hi guys and welcome back to Tom Talks. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And today we're going to be talking about Sumotherhood, which is the sequel to the 2011 film Anuvahood. I enjoy Anuvahood. I think it's a funny film. Obviously some of it hasn't aged particularly well. But overall, I find it an entertaining film that gets a lot of laughs out of me. It's concise, it's straight to the point, and it does what it does well. And from the first time I watched it to the recent times I've watched it, I still find it an entertaining film. So, in 2023, we've got Sumotherhood, which is a sequel, but it's not a sequel. So I'm gonna kind of get into spoilers on this one. So if you haven't watched the film, I'd suggest watching the film and coming back to this review. If you don't care, then, watch ahead, but spoilers. So, yeah. So Sumotherhood is a follow-up, is what I would say. There is characters from the original film. There is actors from the original film. But it's sort of, but not really a sequel. So, for example, Jazzy Zonzolo's character is called Rico in this. He was called TJ in the last film. Linda Robson is in this film, but she's not Adam Deacon's mother in this. Adam Deacon is called Kane in this. Kay, similar things. And also, Michael Vu is in this, and Richie Campbell as Tyrone. There's probably other actors from the first one that I've mentioned who aren't. I mean, Jammer is in this as the Merkel man, but, it doesn't really matter if he knows people or not, do you know what I mean? He's just Jammer. But the point is, there's not a lot of consistency between those films, really. They're two stories in the same universe, but they're not succinct of one another. For example, Rico and Kane come across Tyrone. They don't recognise each other, which they would. After the events of the first film, they would definitely recognise Tyrone, but they don't. Linda Robson's character, who is Kay's mother in the first film, does not recognise Adam Deacon. So, obviously, they're not related, because a mother would recognise her son. And Michael Vu is in this. He makes a very small cameo. You can miss it, but I noticed it. But if he's Lee Soy, if he's someone else, I don't know. He's one of the writers on the film, so he has a part to play in this, just not an acting part per se. So yeah, in terms of whether this is a sequel or I call it a follow-up, because it's not directly following on from the events of that film. So that was the first bit which kind of confused me, because they didn't really make that clear. They sort of did, but not really. It's not that deep. This is a comedy film. With this film, I have to sort of look at it not just with my film critic brain. I have to look at it just as what it is, which is a comedy. And whilst this is saying some things to me, I have to say, but it's this. So you can't use this side of the brain to comment on something like this. So, if you get what I mean. In terms of the acting performances, I think, Adam Deacon and Jazzy Zonzolo were both good here. They played their characters well. They were entertaining. They were fun. Richie Campbell as Tyrone, very hard to mess up that character. They didn't mess up that character here. He was entertaining. Oh, another one as well. Jamie Winston is in this. And in the first one, she was semi-related to Adam Deacon's character, and now she's hitting on him. It's, as I said, a lot of inconsistencies. Naomi Anderson as the love interest did her job well. The cameos were a bit of a mixed bag. Jennifer Saunders was quite good at the end. I liked her character and what they did with her. Jammer's bit was just bizarre, but he's playing the Merkel man, so it's going to be bizarre. Jeremy Corbyn was used quite well. He's not an actor, obviously, but he did what he needed to do. And then you've got Peter Serafinowicz might as well have not been in this film. I don't know why he was in this film. That scene was really sort of not necessary at all. But he got the bag, I guess, so good for him. But the cameo I have to talk about is Ed Sheeran. So Ed Sheeran plays the crackhead in this film. Ashley Walters, of course, did in Anuvahood. Very good crackhead, if I don't say so myself. But Ed Sheeran, for me, he's not a good actor. This acting was... yeah. The bit where he's sort of mimicking thinking out loud is kind of funny, but this performance was a bit... it was a bit off. And him, like, taking a dump in front of children was... yeah. That was something... and he ended up interacting with the traffic cop from the first film. That was a weird interaction. Ed Sheeran, his acting's not great in this, and he's not as good as playing a crackhead as Ashley Walters is. So you learn something new every day. In terms of the overall film, there is a lot of tonal whiplash in this film. At points, it's trying to be a comedy. At other points, it's trying to be quite serious. And it feels a bit weird. Like, I've talked about tonal whiplash before. For example, The Curse, which was a series by the people who made People Just Do Nothing. At points was trying to be a comedy. At points was trying to be, like, really serious. Like, oh, people are dying. And that's what Sumotherhood feels like. Because there's silliness going on. Like, them trying to steal from Lethal Bizzle and them dancing on stage in their underwear. And then next thing you know, somebody is being chucked off a building. And it's like, okay. So in real life, Adam Deacon has bipolar disorder, and you can read up about it and the stuff with Noel Clarke and court cases and stuff. You can read online about that. And I think here he was taking the piss out of it a bit, which is fine, because that's what he wanted to do. But there is serious moments, and there's one point in the prison where you're like, okay, this is trying to make a poignant point. And then it sort of just goes back to being kind of silly again. It doesn't quite make that point, and I'm not... that again is the tonal whiplash of this film. It's like one moment he's kind of taking the mick out of bipolar, and the next he's trying to be serious, and then he's taking the mick again. It feels like this needed a bit of polish on it to sort of expand some of the things they were trying to say, so it doesn't feel quite sort of all over the place, so to speak. Like, as well, they're making a commentary on the Met Police's, like, racism and sexism with the, like, police officer guy who's a racist and a sexist, obviously. It's done sort of well. How they finish it up is kind of funny and good. But it's sort of in between the sort of silliness and chaoticness of the plot of this film. It's like, oh my God, there's a big shootout. Is Adam Deacon going to survive? Is Tyrone going to survive? Is this person going to survive? And then it's just like, oh yes, by the way, Met Police are racist and sexist. Taser is balls, haha. And then it's back to Adam Deacon trying to fly off to somewhere else. This film is so unbalanced. It's so all over the place. But I don't love it. I have to admit, I enjoy this film. From a film critic perspective, this film is a mess. It's so all over the place. There's bits that just don't feel right, that feel forced. Like, there's points where he'll be like, oh yeah, Fruitella's a bad man sweet. And it's like, you can tell that was so forced to be like, hey, remember that from the first film? The traffic warden, hey, remember him from the first film? That was funny, wasn't it? That don't make sense. This film is chaos. but it's good chaos. It's entertaining chaos. The plot itself, as I said, it's a mess. And it feels a bit like comedy skits at points. There's like a plot succinct, but it's sort of like, here's a skit, here's something else, here's something else. And it feels more like a mixture of comedy skits interspersed into like some sort of coherent plot. I got enjoyment from this film. It had a semi-satisfying the conclusion to this film is odd. There's just like a big shootout and the police officer guy's just sort of spraying a machine gun. And at the end, basically, he gets fired. But I'm like, that guy's not just getting fired. He just pulverized loads of people. I don't care what the situation. You can't be a police officer in this country, at least. You might be able to, depending on, well, we know what the Met Police is like, as they make a point in this video, in the film, sorry. But you can't just be, like, doing that. And it's like, yeah, haha, we got you, you're fired. Like, he would be going to prison. But I think sometimes you have to sort of turn the logic of your brain off and just, like, sort of be like, shh, ha, this is funny, this is silly. Sumotherhood is entertaining chaos, is how I would describe this film. It's a bit of a mess. It makes some poignant points. I can see what it's trying to do. And I think if a bit more time had been put into this and sort of fixed the elements clashing instead of like fitting succinctly, I think that would have improved the quality of the film. But for what this film is, it's fun. It's a good time. But don't expect a coherent plot or deep themes being explored in a completely succinct way, is what I would say. Overall, I'd give Sumotherhood, I'm going to give it a 5.5. Because the film critic in me is like, this film is not made very well. It doesn't make sense. But the entertainment value is like, but this is fun. It makes you laugh. It's silly, but it's fun. So I'm going to go down the middle and say it's a 5.5 out of 10. Anuvahood is a better film because it's more funny. It makes more sense. It's coherent. It flows better. And there's less forced stuff as well. But yeah, that's my thoughts on Sumotherhood. What do you think of Sumotherhood? Do you agree with me? Do you think it's not very good? Do you think it's very good? Let me know in the comments. Would you like a sequel? Because they were hinting there's going to be another one in America. We'll see if that happens. I don't know. It depends, I guess, how well this film does. So we'll have to see. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments. And until next time, folks, this has been another TomTalks.